Right, I found it. No, it wasn't Psalms 137. It was on Psalms 139, and I've highlighted it now. And 19. Okay, now this is a psalm I'm going to show you right here. It says Psalms 139, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. Now, King David, right, this is a psalm of David. This is what he said about the wicked. And basically, we're going to find out exactly who the wicked is, in whom the earth is given into the hand of, and what King David thinks about these particular people. Okay? And why it's so significant that King David thought this, why I'm actually bringing it up, because I've got precepts to back it up. And it says what? Psalms 139 and 19. Surely that will slay the wicked. Right? Surely that will slay the wicked. And that's what we say. Right? Because it's prophecy. Okay? That the so-called white man's kingdom is going to be destroyed. Okay? Remember, the Lord said he laid his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. That's talking about Babylon the Great. That's a future prophecy, man. When Babylon's destroyed, the scripture says no man's going to dwell there. It's just going to be the dragons and the desert-dwelling creatures and, doleful creatures. Loosely paraphrasing. You can read that in Isaiah 13. You can read that in Revelation, the 18th chapter. It's all prophecy. And King David saying that will slay the wicked. Okay? We ain't going to do that in this time. That's why Esau's trying to frame us as black identity extremists. He's setting up certain people that are, certain Israelites to spy out our liberty, fucking agents working for Esau. Talking about making black identity extremist t-shirts, saying that we're going to slay the so-called white people. No, we ain't going to do that, man. We got to wait upon the Lord. That was a commandment given to us by the Lord. When you read Zephaniah 3 and 8, it says, wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. Okay? So let's read on. It says, surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O Yahweh, depart from me, therefore ye bloody men. Right? And you can't deny that the so-called white man is a bloody man. What did they do when they went over to the Americas? What did they do when they put the so-called Negroes on cargo slave ships? Okay? What did they do when they did that, man? You can't tell me that that's not a bloody man. The scripture tell you in John 10 and 10, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. Okay? The scriptures say in Psalms, what? The 75th chapter, I believe. Violence covereth him as a garment, man. That's how bloody the so-called white man is. And why is he so bloody? Why is he so confident? Because he's been given the blessing of the sword. And he's been given the power to take peace from the earth through means of the sword. It says, for they speak against thee wickedly, and thine enemies take thy name in vain. You can't tell me that the so-called white man don't speak wickedly against the Most High. He cast the words of the Most High behind him. Okay? He believes that he's the Most High. He promotes homosexuality. He promotes transgenderism. Okay? Verse 21, do I not hate them, O Yahweh, that hate thee? And am I not grieved with those that rise up against thee? Right? So King David says, do I not hate them? Oh Lord, this is a psalm. This is in Psalms 139 and 21, a psalm of King David. He said, do I not hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? And am I not grieved with those that rise up against thee? I hate them with a perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies, man. And they are our enemies, man. They're the enemies of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. The so-called white man is the enemy of the Israelites, man. Okay? Now, the reason why I went to this specific verse here in Psalms 139 to further give more weight onto the precept in Malachi 1 and 3, talking about the Lord hating Esau. Okay? Because this is a psalm of David, right? Now, we know King David was a man after the Most High's heart. Let's get to Acts 13 and 22. It says, and when he had removed him, he had raised up unto them David to be their king, and to whom he also gave testimony and said, I have found David the son of Jesse, a man after mine own heart, which shall fulfill all my will. So, and when you go into that word heart, right, the word heart in the Hebrew is love, which is the mind. So King David is a man after the Most High's mind. Is a man after the Most High's heart. Right? And how do we know that that's true? Because when we go back to Malachi now, okay, because King David said he hates them with a perfect hatred, the wicked, okay, it actually lines up perfectly with Malachi, the first chapter. Okay? Which says what? Malachi, back to Malachi 1 and 3. And I hated Esau. Okay? So this is a man that hates the wicked with a perfect hatred. Okay? Esau with a perfect hatred. Okay, then you might say, well, how do you know that it's talking about Esau when it talks about the wicked? Well, let's read on. And laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, we will return and build the desolate places. Saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And that's why you see them building today. You got nothing but skyscrapers, you got nothing but cranes doing all the heavy lifting. They're still building to this very day. But the Lord said that he was going to throw them down. All the monuments that Esau's building. Okay? It says, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. Right? Let me read that again. They shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. That word indignation means righteous anger. And the Lord has got righteous anger or indignation against the wicked, which are the Edomites, forever. Okay? Let's get Romans. Let's get Romans. Chapter 9. And 22. Have not the potter power over the clay to make the same lump to make one vessel. Salaki, let me read that again. Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor. Right? So there's a vessel that's been created unto honor, which would be us, the Israelites. But then there's other vessels that are created unto dishonor, which is the Edomites, in whom the Lord has indignation against them forever, in whom the Lord hates, in whom King David, who's a man after the Lord's heart, the Most High's heart, right, has indignation against them also, who he hates them with a perfect hatred. It says, what if the Most High willing to show his wrath and to make his power known? Right? And that's why all of this transgenderism, and that's why all the chemtrails and the GMOs and all of these things and all the wickedness that Esau actually pushes throughout the earth, that's why it's still going on, because the Lord is mounting up all of them wickedness, them wicked acts, right? Because when his judgment is served against him, it's going to be justified, because the wicked is actually going to be put out. Esau has gone so far left because he was created to be the wicked. He was created to go left. He's not created to be the righteous. The scripture says there's the soul which is in him is not upright in him, man. He was a vessel created unto dishonor. Esau is a dishonorable vessel, man. It says, what if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. So Esau, your end is to be fitted to destruction, man. How do we know that? Let's go back into Job. Let's see what Job says, man. In Job 20, okay, now we know who the wicked is, okay? Now we know, we've proved through Malachi, the first chapter, and the third verse on down, who the wicked is. We proved that the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. In fact, let me hold that, Job. Let me go back to Micah real quick, because I just want to establish this point right here. Micah chapter 2, you see, Micah chapter 2, verse 1. Woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, and you can't tell me that transgenderism isn't evil, man, or, the feminist movement isn't evil, or the divide and conquer techniques he uses to separate a man from his household isn't evil, or a woman from her child isn't evil, right? Putting the Northern Kingdom in concentration camps in Walmart isn't evil. Giving them nothing but foil paper to sleep in isn't evil. Putting Israelites on cargo slave ships and selling them as cattle isn't evil. You can't tell me that these ain't acts of evil, man. Creating excuses to go in other people's land and rape their natural resources, you can't tell me that that's not evil. The earth has been given into the hand of the wicked, man. If it's not the so-called white man, who is it, man? It says, when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. The earth has been given into the hand of their wicked. They are the ones that are devising this iniquity. Mass deforestation. Air pollution. Here it is. Cars can run off of water, but they're going to take the guy out that invented such an invention and then still use gasoline. for money. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. And you can't tell me that ain't talking about Esau, man. The earth has been given to the hand of the wicked, man. Okay, and they do this because it's in the power of their hand. And the Lord setteth up over it the basis of men. It tells you that in Daniel, the 2nd chapter, I believe. Or is it the 4th chapter? Okay. Daniel, let's get it. Daniel chapter 4. I believe it's Daniel chapter 4. And 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. And that's who's ruling today, brothers. The basis of men is in a position of rulership, man. The so-called white man, which is the wicked. Only a base man will pollute their own air, the same air that he has to breathe. Okay? Okay? Bear with me. This is Psalms chapter 75. Verse 10. But all the horns of the wicked also will I cut off. But the horns of the righteous shall be exalted. Alright, so Esau, you're going to be cut off, man. This is Job chapter 20:4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Who's the hypocrite, man? That's talking about Esau. You are the hypocrite. Okay? Esau, you're nothing but a fucking hypocrite, man. Okay? Here it is. I mean, what's the example of being a hypocrite? You say that you got a God-fearing country. You know, your judicial system is based on swearing on the Bible. But then at the same time, you legalize homosexuality, man. You decree unrighteous decrees. You're the hypocrite, man. Okay? This is Isaiah 20:24-21. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings that are upon the earth, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together as the prisoners are gathered in the pit, and they shall be shut up in prison, and after days, many days hence shall they be visited. Okay? So you're going to be gathered into a pit, man, after 1,000 years of slavery, and you're going to be burnt, man. And rightfully so. Okay? What's that? Psalms 149. Okay, bear with me, Arkim. I believe it's Isaiah 35. Yep, it's Isaiah chapter 30. I'm going to start from 32:5. It says, the vile person shall be no more be called liberal, nor the child said to be bountiful. Right? And Esau is that vile person, man. Okay? Because when you go into that word vile, right? I believe is it Nabal? Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Isaiah 32. Salakia, bear with me, brothers. Yeah. When you go into the word vile, right? The Hebrew word is Nabal. As you can see it there, Nabal. Okay? And it says a foolish, senseless fool. Right? So that's the vile person that, that's being spoken of in Isaiah the 32nd chapter, man. Okay? Because when you go into that word vile, the Hebrew word is Nabal, which means a senseless fool. And you can't tell me that Esau is not a senseless fool. When you go into the book of Job, the 30th chapter, he goes on to say what? They were, in fact, let me start from 3. For want and famine, they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness, in former time, desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief. Because they are thieves, man. Right? They spread nothing but disease. The dark nations didn't want them around. So they got chased out into the caves, man. It says to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. That's why they call themselves Caucasians to this very day. And Caucasian, when you look up the word Caucasian, what does Caucasian mean? Well, I ain't lying. Let's bring it up. Right? Caucasian. And this is on Google. It says a person from the Caucasus Mountains, man. Right? Caucasus. What's the Caucasus? Okay? Caucasus. A region located at the border of Eastern Europe and Western Asia, situated between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, occupied by Russia, Georgia. Right? So they're basically cave dwellers, man. Okay? It says it is home to the Caucasus Mountains. Okay? So they're nothing but a bunch of cave dwellers. That's why Job was saying in Job 30, it says what? It says, they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the earths, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, under nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, ye children of base men. They were viler than the earth. Remember, the vile man, the churl, the vile man. Okay? When you go back into Isaiah 32, it said what? The vile man. When you go into vile, it was the Hebrew word was nabal, which means a foolish, senseless fool. Job called them cave dwellers. He said they were children of fools. The children of base men, that they were viler than the earth. Okay? That's it on that. Now I'm going to finish this off in Job chapter 20. Right? Verse 5, it says that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Now, we already established who the wicked is. Right? These cave-dwelling Edomites, man. Okay? And the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Hold on a minute. I didn't even finish Isaiah 32. Because there was a point that I wanted to get in that. So lucky, man. I'm all over the place. But you know, the spirit. It says the vile person, back in Isaiah 32 and 5. The vile person, remember, the senseless fool, right, Nabal, person shall be no more be called liberal, right? Liberal meaning free, right? That's what the word liberal means. Or when you go into the word liberal, the etymology of the word liberal is licentiousness, right? When you go into that word licentiousness, it means morally unrestrained. I ain't lying. You can look up the word yourself. All right, and you can't tell me that the so-called white man is not morally unrestrained, man. All right, that's why he legalizes homosexuality and pushes out trannies, man. Like there's no tomorrow. It says, nor the churl said to be bountiful. And you can't tell me that the Edomites are not bountiful, man. The earth has been given into their hand, man. The basis of men have been set up as a ruler over the face of the earth. It says, for the vile person will speak valiantly, and his heart will work iniquity. Remember, woe to them that devise iniquity upon their beds. Micah 2 and 1. To practice hypocrisy. Okay? Now that's the point I wanted to get. Okay? And to utter error against the Lord. Okay? Now who's the one that utters error against the Lord and practices hypocrisy? Let's go back to Job 20 and 5. That the triumphing of the wicked. Who's the wicked? The Edomites. Esau. Is short, and the joy of the hypocrite, the ones that practice hypocrisy and iniquity, that speak error against the Lord, but for a moment, though his excellency mounts up to the heavens, and his head reach into the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which shall see him shall say, where is he? Okay? He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more. Neither shall his place be found anymore. And that's what Isaiah 24 was going to, man. When they're going to be gathered into a pit and they're going to be burnt. Read Obadiah 1:18. Okay? And this is a beautiful thing because the wicked is going to be put out, man. All right, but the horn of the righteous shall be established, man. Because Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, man. The Lord is going to make his heritage a desolate wilderness, man. For the dragons of the wilderness. That's what it said in Malachi 1 and 3. And he says that he has indignation against you Edomites forever, man. Just like King David said he hates you with a perfect hatred, who's a man after the Most High's heart, man. That's who the wicked is. That's who the earth has been given into the hand of. And if you don't like it, tough, man. The so-called white man's kingdom is going down. Hey, and it's a beautiful time period to be in, man. Because our kingdom is next. And with that, man, Lord willing, you Arkin were edified. And I'm going to say shalom.